It's me, it's Constance with Charming Crafts. Okay, anyway, this is on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and I know you're all getting tired of paper crafting, but I have a lot of that and I need to do, but I have some other things coming up that I think you'll like. I'm trying to get to my mom's project, which is a graphic 45 project. It's a 6-volume album. You'll see why when I get to it. I don't want to explain it right now. But anyway, this layout I've been trying to do for a while. I have a whole bunch of pictures that are printed out that I need to get to, and I specifically bought certain sheets of paper to use for some of it. So that was my play money out of what I've been using, or what I've used or got for my desashes. It's only a couple things I got, and one was like an order of single paper. Yeah, me with all my paper, and I'm still buying. Anyway, this is called the Perfect Smile, and I'm going to put you down for just a second. There's a story. If you guys have been following me, my son was born with facial defects. He's also Asperger's, and he had his first, well, he's had 20 surgeries. He had his first major one when he was 12, and they did a Z-plasty with a plastic surgeon. He went in and moved his muscles around because they were down. Just think of horizon, and then we had to pull him up to a mountain peak for him to speak, because everybody's like, oh, it's autism, it's all about, no, it's, he speaks, but now it's, well, anyway, after the first surgery, because usually they do it by time, there's 7, and they didn't catch it until I was dealing with a speech therapist, which was working on texture, and she caught it, and she's like, you know, when are you going to be seeing the ENT? And I'm like, weirdly enough, tomorrow. She's like, you need to ask him to check Jeffrey's mouth. And I'm like, why? Because he really didn't talk a whole lot, and I understood him because I was his mom. I can understand jargon, which is also gibberish. Jargon is the formal term for it. But she says, I think he had a cleft palate when he was a baby. And I'm like, well, no way, because I would have caught it. Somebody would have said something, because I've been dealing with an ENT since he was born. And she's like, no, I don't think this was something anybody caught. She goes, just ask the audiologist or ENT. And the ENT, because he wears hearing aids too, though he doesn't like to wear them. He hasn't been wearing them in a while. Anyway, that's a long story in itself. My son's had nothing but, you know, health problems all his life. Anyway, up until a certain point, and I'm explaining that. So they went in and did a Z-plasty, and when they closed it, they actually closed it the opposite way, so you can understand a Z, and then pulling it the other way so it's tight. And the doctor, because he was 12, said that, you know, he'd give him a 50-50 shot. It usually works better, way better if they're under 7. And, you know, he had come in like the day after, and we're sitting there laughing at him because we cried the night before because we heard I Love You crystal clear for the first time in his life. And it happened to be Easter, and they brought the Easter bunny in that day and everything for the kids. He enjoyed that, though. He was annoyed by anybody bothering him because he was still dopey. Anyway, they told us that they ended up taking his uvula out because they couldn't tube him. And of all the surgeries he had, he's never been tubed until that time. So that was weird. And they're like, oh, well, it's not uncommon. Well, the nurses said they've never seen it. So anyway, they took that out. And they told me that he would eventually have to have this major facial reconstruction surgery. Which explained a lot of his problems. He has facial deformities, and my mom later found that she had similar ones, and she felt bad because she's like, oh, it's my fault. But this particular surgery they couldn't do until you're 18. A lot of people that are told this won't do it because it's such a massive reconstruction surgery of the face. They don't want to touch it. I've had doctors say, I need it, but I won't do it. And I'm like, you dummy? You know, my son's 18, and of course he'd already gone through it, and I'm like, he's got disabilities, and he did it. What's your problem? Anyway, but there was a lot of women that were following his progress. I don't have it up anymore, but everybody was following his progress. So a lot of you guys didn't get a chance to see his smile. This was the second time he had braces on. Only the reason why he had these braces on is so that they can shift his mouth to where they can cut the jawbone in the back. They cut it in the back off, and they cut it underneath. And they did the same thing to the top. They actually took his teeth and gums and bone underneath and cut it out. When they got to the top, he could have done a better job, but he said there was scar tissue from the Z-plasty. He goes, I kind of wish they would have waited, but he goes, I understand why they did it. But the moment he snapped that loose, his nose opened up, he could breathe, he was no longer a mouth breather. His majority of his nasal problems and his ear problems were gone. But they ended up putting 19 pins in his face, a couple clips, and he has a big screw in his chin. So they give him a chinplasty. It's something different. But basically, he had from the nose down. And people followed me for, I think, probably about 6 months because I was putting progress up there. And there's a lot of videos out there. I think I may have one up there, but I think I might have took it down here recently. But it was a massive difference between him and his face. The problem with the type of deformities, their face doesn't grow anymore. So they gave him a 27-year-old face at 18 years old. So this was between his junior and senior year that he had this done. So they put braces back on, and they don't wire the mouth shut anymore. They put like these massive bands that I have to go in and wash his mouth out, and he can only eat from he can't even put a straw in. I had to squirt food and his, liquids in his mouth. So, that went on for about a week, and then they tensioned off a little bit to where he can, barely open his mouth. But I was impressed. I mean, it was a massive surgery. I mean, I've had massive surgeries, but that's one that I cringe at. And I was really proud of him, though the first thing my daughter and I noticed, because my husband was gone, he was deployed, that his nose was totally different. And we noticed that immediately after surgery. He had some bruising and swelling for quite a while. It's funny because I stayed up so long. My daughter helped me for about a week, and then she dropped because he needed 24-hour care. And I ended up, by the 10th day, dropping myself and ended up having to have surgery within 2 days. An emergency surgery, which I ended up in bed next to my son, which was the ironic part. And I had to pull him out of bed to have him be there because he was over 18 and my daughter had her temps, and then she had to drive me home. So it was a nightmare, but he was a champion through it. So I wanted to show his brand new smile and his new face, and he's growing into the face now, though I preferred his other face better, but at the same time, it's a major difference because of the fact that, he has a full-grown man's face that we're still adapting to because he's now growing into it. But I wanted to share this with you, especially for the ones that have been following. This is one of my favorite layouts. I gotta say it. It's a fun one, too. It's bold. So this one's called the Perfect Smile, and I want to show this. This is really cute. So I ended up putting the stages of him getting his braces off. I'm going to go down here and show you. They had to go up and unhook it from the back and then pull the sides, and of course they're pulling out the rest of the pieces here. I have some foam stickers, one on top of the other, but they all have sparkles on them. And then I cut out these, I printed out some pictures of some lips. I could have made them, but it was just quicker. And they were perfect. This one just it was perfect for me because it was a perfect smile. So the paper has Perfect Smile pearly whites and all that stuff on it. It's very trendy looking paper, and I put a border along the side, and then I put another border to match. I did the EK punch with the film strip on the sides because it's picture perfect. It's all about picture perfect and the perfect smile, and he makes me really smile looking at this because I'm really proud of him. My husband really didn't get a chance to see how bad he was, and my daughter and I were so proud of him for everything he's gone through. And these are all double matted. I know it's got black, but I wanted to center in and not put too much black on the board. It already had enough. And then I center focused in on him, and this is his new smile. For those who had been following, that's his new face and his new smile. I know I didn't do this earlier, and I wish I would have for the ladies that were following. But that's his new teeth line. His gum, all his teeth were forward and off and crooked, and his teeth weren't crooked, but the line mark in his face was crooked. So this is a completely brand new smile. Though he hasn't been running his retainer like he's supposed to, so he's got like one crooked tooth and it's driving him crazy. But I put some sparkle glitter, just basic like diamond sparkle glitter on the Perfect Smile. Did not put a title on it because the paper worked itself. So the paper worked in this favor for me. So I used the paper, and this is where I said sometimes the paper tells a story and sometimes you tell the story with the paper. In this regard, it's the paper tells the story. But I made it to where there is room behind it. It's a complete pocket here. It's taped up here and taped down here. This is, of course, my journal spot. It's taped at the both ends because they gave him some like papers that can, completion, and I had some other pictures. So I wanted to show you what's actually on the back half of the picture. I made another journal card for the back over here that was slides underneath. And here's the braces here. And I didn't want to emphasize on the braces so much because this is his smile without the braces. So on the back of the paper, you have the braces. So I just cut little strips and bordered or matted it. So I have a place in here to write with my white gel pen. And on the other side, this is his smile immediately because I took him for a haircut. He was so excited. I took him for a haircut. He never lets his hair get that long. It was my fault. But at the same time, you know, he's still dealing with a lot. So that was him immediately after having his braces out, though he's probably going to kill me that I showed that picture. But I got a little extra. You guys always know that I put something fun in all my layouts. Let's see if I can get this back in. I don't want to show pictures of these because you guys, I like the fact that people have to watch my videos. But I have a little, let's see if I can get this back in now. Okay, so I have it in. I have a little extra piece here. And it was, I always try to put hidden treasures in as much as possible. I have it in about 85% of my layouts. And unless you see the video, you don't see it. Because I don't show it unless you watch the video. So, you can see the wonderful half smile with these beautiful pearls. And again, I put a little bit of glitter glue so the teeth sparkled. But this little one still has glitter on it. But it's a pull-out mouth. Come on, you know I had to do something fun. And it came out really cute. I like what it did to the side. But it has a picture of him walking out. And I matted it, but I fitted it to it so I can journal at the top and bottom. I matted it, but that's him walking out with his certificate, a prize, a flower, and a balloon that they do. And of course they do the little braces off dance song. So he was pretty excited. I don't think he really cared about that until they actually did it, and he realized, wow, they're actually coming off, and I never have to wear braces again, because the poor kid had been in braces for 2 years the first time and 2 years the second time. So first time he really needed it. They were starting to line him up for the surgery, and then the second time it was completely just for the surgery. So I wanted to share, in my opinion, the most perfect smile that I have ever seen because of what this child has gone through. He's not a child anymore, though, you know, his disabilities. He's a little bit younger than what he normally is. But I am really proud of him, and I really love this layout, and I hope you guys like the story behind it, and I hope you like the pictures, and I can't thank you enough for watching this. And for those ladies that were trying to keep up with me, I know that I hadn't posted anything in a while, but I hope that some of you have been following me that get a chance to see this. So I'll actually title it with Jeffrey's name in it, so maybe some of you ladies will catch it. Not last name, but you know what I'm saying. So there you go. That's my perfect smile for my son. That's the perfect smile. Bye, guys.